Welcome back to my channel, Becoming Aligned, and today we're continuing the series, The Frequency of Miracles. And this series is really about giving you the tools to shift your energy so that you're not just hoping for miracles, but you're living inside them. And today's episode, we're going to talk about one of the biggest emotions that gets in the way of us being in the frequency of miracles, and also how to alchemize it. So let's dive in. Let's talk about fear. Now, not the kind of fear that tells you not to walk into oncoming traffic. That's quite healthy fear, but I mean the fear that keeps you stuck and small and second guessing yourself, stopping you from doing the things that you know you should do in order to reach your goals. But somehow you just can't. That sort of fear. Because that fear convinces you that you're powerless to change your life, or it convinces you that those worst case scenarios are actually going to happen. And the truth is that that fear is not just a feeling, it's a whole frequency. And if you stay in it, it creates more experiences that match that frequency. Because that is the thing with frequency, it magnetizes, it draws to us the same frequency that we're giving out. So what we give out, we get back. So if we're sharing the frequency of fear, if we're giving that out, then we're going to attract back to us experiences or moments that are going to keep us in that frequency state. So fear actually contracts your energy. It narrows your thinking and it cuts you off from creativity and your innate instincts. It makes the problem seem bigger and us seem smaller, like who am I to be able to do this, or who am I to be able to change this? So fear says, you're screwed. You better panic, you better worry, you better run, you better fight, or you better stay exactly where you are. You can't change. But truth and the frequency of truth doesn't do any of that. Truth says, let's deal with what's actually here in this moment right now. Not the story that you're spinning, not the nightmare in your head, just what's real. Because in reality, 9 times out of 10, the situation you're scared of is something you can handle. Either it'll never happen, or when it does, you have the tools to be able to deal with it. I mean, think about this yourself. How many times have you been in deep moments of fear and moved through them? Well, every single moment, right? Because here you are now watching this video. So I remember for myself a time when I was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and we were on summit day. So we'd been climbing for hours. And within probably about the first 2 hours, I remember having to stop because I was so cold, but I'd had a pain in my right foot. And when I took my boot off, I'd had a massive blister in it. It had burst. And so it was an open wound that was rubbing against my boot. So I had been limping on this climb. I was in pain. I was freezing cold. The air was low because the oxygen at that height is minimal. And so my mind was screaming, if you keep going on, you're going to die. It's always very dramatic, is my inner narrative. And so I was envisaging my body being airlifted off the mountain, my parents being told, I was envisaging my funeral. And so then I brought myself back into the present moment, because I was in deep fear. I really was listening to my inner narrative. And when I brought myself back into the present moment, I immediately calmed. And in that stillness, I had a more quieter voice saying, it's okay, Claire, you can do this, just take one step. And so I stayed present to that, and I stepped forward, and then I stepped forward again, and I just kept listening. And then that voice brought up a Bible passage from my childhood that I just kept saying again and again and again, which is I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. And in saying that mantra kept me in the present moment, and watching being conscious to my steps. It took me out of the pain, it took me out of the cold, kept me present in the moment, and that's how I made it to the top. See, here's the sneaky part about fear that no one really tells us or talks about, is that your nervous system can actually get addicted to fear. So you can get used to the buzz of it, the worrying, the drama, the constant what-if spirals. And your body begins to crave that frequency even when there's nothing wrong. And so we call people like that worry warts, but it's not just a personality quirk, it's actually a frequency addiction. And if you don't notice it, you'll keep creating problems just to stay in the energy that you're used to. And that can be for anything, from fear, from worry, from doubt. So here's the switch that I offer for you to make. And that's fear asks, what if everything goes wrong? But truth asks, what's actually happening right now? What's happening in this moment right now? Truth brings us back to the present moment, not so you can ignore your problems or your challenges, but so you can deal with them from a place of power, not panic. Because that's the miracle, the clarity, the fresh perspective, the opportunity, the solution. And that doesn't live inside the fear story. It lives inside the truth of the present moment, inside what's real. And in that moment, you stop playing out worst case scenarios that haven't even happened. And you start taking smart, conscious, aligned steps based on what's actually true. So here's something that you can do today. When you catch yourself spiraling, stop and ask, is this real? Or is this just a story that I'm telling myself? And be mindful, of course, of when I say truth and when I say what's real, we can be present to the moment, but also be stuck in our past stories. So a belief is just a thought that you've told yourself on repeat that looks actually true to you. So when I say, is this true, or am I, or is this real for this moment now? It's really getting radically honest with yourself. Is this story I'm telling myself really true? If I went to somebody else, would they see the same story? Would they say the same thing about me? Can I say that this is true about me always? Or am I just believing that in this present moment now? So is it 100% true all the time? That's the best question to ask. And then the next question would be, what's a small step that I can take right now in this moment that's going to move me towards my end vision, that's going to take me into the next moment? That's how you can move back out of fear into power, or back out of the past or future worst case scenarios back into this present moment now. Because in this present moment now, you are fully equipped with everything you need to make the next step. We are designed to thrive, and that does include you. So you don't have to be fearless to create miracles. You just have to let fear stop driving the vehicle. Truth isn't some abstract spiritual concept. It's real, it's practical, and it's powerful. And it's always available when you choose to come back to it. So if this episode resonated with you, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, where we'll keep exploring how you can come back into alignment with your truth, with your purpose, with your power, and with your potential to live life in more joy, ease, and flow. And if you want to go deeper with me into this understanding of energetics and frequency and miracles, so you can start drawing in the results that you desire and start creating a life by your design, then I'll drop some links below for ways that I can support you and we can walk this powerful, joyful, magnificent journey together. But until next time, stay in the frequency of miracles.